Hey guys, welcome to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday evening to you all. I hope you're all okay. Hope you're all right. Hope the week has treated you well. Obviously, a lot has kind of happened this week with obviously the Super Cup that happened Wednesday evening, obviously losing on penalties to PSG. But a lot's happening in the transfer market. You know, we've got updates on the Eze, the Savinho deals, and where they're at. We've also got updates surrounding interest in midfielder BIssouma. Spurs reigniting interest in Piero Hincapie. We've got the Burnley preview. There's quite a bit in this video that the more I've talked, the more I've realised there's a lot more to talk about. So, yeah, really excited. Obviously, Premier League football is back tonight. Liverpool, Bournemouth, 8 p.m. I think it is. It's great to have the Premier League back. It kind of feels weird, you know. The Club World Cup happens, and I was like, I just don't care about football. But as soon as, you know, Wednesday night, and as soon as this weekend have happened, it just reignited the fact that football's back. And do you know what? I could not be more excited about football being back. It's obviously new manager in Thomas Frank, his first Premier League management game for Spurs at home to Burnley. There's a lot to be excited about. There's a lot to be looking forward to. Even Spurs, Sean, Sonny, AJ, Daniel, how are we all? We'll get signs done this weekend. No, it probably won't be this weekend, but you'll sort of see what I mean when I get to it, okay? Because there's a lot that's going to be happening at the moment. Now, let me start with Eze update, and Miguel Delaney saying that Tottenham are £7 million short of what Crystal Palace want for Eze. That's not a ton of money when it comes to a big money move. It's not. It's, you know, if you were talking about like a £20 million move, you know, you're currently sitting at about 17. You know, it's that kind of vibe. You're not that far away. You know, so. I'm not worried about it. I do actually think it will get done. I'm not worried about that in that regard. But sort of tying a little bit of Savinho news, because Alistair Gold has said that Spurs will try and tie up a deal for both Eze and Savinho in the days ahead to ensure a major double dose of quality for Frank's squad and a much needed increase in transfer spending to the sums splashed out by their rivals. And I think that's quite well put. Even though these are big moves, and these are, let's not sugarcoat it, let's not hide away from it. Those are big moves. You sort of still compare it. And I try not to compare just this one window. I try and compare, like, you know, last summer as well as this summer. You know, teams have spent big in and around that sort of the other top five, the big six. You know, they've spent big. They have. And we have been known to spend money. I think that's not what people are annoyed about. It's how we've spent money. This summer feels like Spurs have spent money, realizing that they've got Champions League football. The stadium's making an absolute bucket load of cash. You know, there's investment from Enix supposedly coming in. Naming rights potentially could happen. There's a lot of money that's about to roll into Spurs, and how you continue to grow that money is based on the club being, you know, decent. Basically, I can't really jazz that one up to be more than it is. Giant Jazz, how are we both? So that's massive. You know, I think Maddison's injury probably was one of the big reasons why the Eze deal feels like that's come around. I think that was very much based on Maddison's knee injury and him being out for pretty much the whole season. Yeah, fascinating, really, when you think about it. It's always that chain of events. Whenever you think about your own day-to-day life, a small little cog in a system, a small little chain in a necklace can drastically change so many different avenues in your own life. And Maddison's injury has changed Spurs fandom life a little bit, because they are realizing he was kind of going to be a huge part to the system for us this year, and we need to replace him. We need to get someone that can play in the 10. And Eze feels like that guy, but you know, Eze has versatility, and Savinho has that versatility. Savinho plays on the right, he plays on the left, so it's not crazy. Eric and Callum, how are you both? So look, on Eze, I do think it's going to get done. 7 million. I expect him to play against Chelsea at the weekend. I think they play Sunday away to Chelsea. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think he'll play on Sunday because I think the deal's close, but I don't think it's like, it's going to happen tonight sort of thing. And if it does, correct me when I'm wrong, because I'm happy to be wrong on this one. If it's tonight, not a problem. But I see this being, something midweek next week. And when it's weird to say, oh, let's look at Spurs' fixtures. I just want to look at more so not who we're playing, but the date. We next play away at Man City Saturday lunchtime. So it'd be great if Eze is in by that point, because I think, look, Pep has said that Savinho's injured at the moment. That's normally talk for we're keeping him out of the squad because the deal is potentially coming for him. I don't think you're going to get Savinho before that game. I think you'll get Savinho after that game. And what I don't want is what I don't want is people to be annoyed that Savinho isn't going to get done before the City game. It's the irony is he's a Man City player. If they just wait an extra 8 days, they can sell him with him not having an effect against them. So that's why. That's why I don't think it's that. Even though I feel like that one is a bit further along in terms of Spurs have had multiple bids rejected for Savinho. I don't see it being one that's close by because just purely on the fact that Manchester City is who we play in the second game week away at Manchester City. So yeah, I think Eze of the two is the likely one next week if I had to pick. And Spurs do feel like they are in pole position now for Eze, and Eze wants Spurs. Spurs wants Eze. They're in contact with Crystal Palace. This deal is progressing, Eze for the number 8 shirt, Ray. Be for the 10. Be for the 10. If it's close, would they risk an injury to Eze? Look, I think they're happy to keep him because they're going to be selling Mark Guay to Liverpool. So I think they'd go, oh no, he's picked up a hamstring injury. Oh no, we'll have to keep him, So there's that. Apparently Gibbs White did call Thomas Frank to apologise, by the way, which I found quite hilarious. So less about that the better. Moving a little bit on, there's Matt Barlow, who works for the Mail, saying that Savinho's agents are flying to Europe from Brazil in an attempt to help Savinho secure the move to Tottenham, which is the move that he wants. He also said Spurs have not reached an agreement for Eze, but it is getting closer. Like, that's exciting. That's exciting, yeah. I mean, Pep was talking about Savinho, and Pep said he's extraordinary, but at the end, as always, the desire of the player prevails above everything. And after there has to be an agreement with the club. If you don't take an agreement, the player will be here. And I think that's kind of telling that, Savinho's not going to force his way out, but he does want to go to Spurs. I think it probably has an impact with the Brazil squad for the World Cup coming up. I think he's seeing, Cherky come in. He's seeing other players come in and he's looking at it going, I could probably play week in, week out, 40, 50 games this season with Spurs, get like 20 goal contributions, and I might start for Brazil at the World Cup, Lesser players have started for Brazil in the last 5 years on worse performances. So, yeah, why not? We're not signing any of them. I have a feeling if we get those deals done, we can get 5th in a League Cup win. Not the best source, though, is it, Andy? I mean, no. But then Alistair Gold and Fabrizio Romano have said it, so I think I can counteract it with those two, who are pretty damn good sources, if you ask me. Yeah, I don't think Savinho will happen before Eze. I think Eze will happen before Savinho, and that's purely because of just City the next weekends. That's all. It's not because Spurs are, awful at negotiations or anything like that. I just purely think it's because of who we play. Like, if we were playing Man City, like, November, I think Savinho probably would get done I just feel like it would. But I think City will long it out a little bit. And then they might even agree a deal over that weekend, but he's not going to be registered and able to play against City. So I think that's what they're doing. We'll see. Let's talk Hincapie, because Paul O'Keefe's saying that Spurs have identified Piero Hincapie as the favoured left-sided centre-back. Appreciation, any deal will be very difficult and involve a large fee. Thomas Frank and the club see him as an ideal candidate. Now, on Hincapie, we've obviously talked about Hincapie on this channel for years, by the way. I remember I did a comparison with him, Clement Longley, and Evan Ndicka. And obviously that was the summer that we went for Longley. He's still 23. It feels like he's older. Yeah, he's 23. Yeah, he's born in January. Piero Martin Hincapie Reina is his name. Contract expires in the summer of 2029. He did only extend his deal about December 21st, 2024. Interesting. I mean, I have an issue with this one purely on the fact that Jonathan Tah has left to go to Bayern Munich. So I don't see, with a player that they've got under contract for multiple years, leaving when they've already lost Jeremy Frimpong and Jonathan Tah of their back five. I mean, they've sold the keeper as well, Haradaki. I think he's gone. So you've sold the keeper, you sold your starting captain centre back in Jonathan Tah. You sold your right wing back in Jeremy Frimpong. You've only got Tapsoba, Hincapie, and Grimaldo left of the main five. Granit Xhaka's gone in the midfield. Florian Wirtz is left in the attack. They've got all the money in the world, Leverkusen, Frimpong, 40 odd million. Haradaki was at least a good few million. Jonathan Tah was on good wages. They saved that. Xhaka, 12 million. Wirtz is over 100 million. It's not like they need the money. So it's what I've always said about Emirates Eze. With those sort of deals, when you're buying off a club that is going to sell or they've already made some good money, it's hard to see. It's hard to see how Spurs would have that sort of leverage, if you know what I mean. I'm not saying it couldn't happen, but I'm struggling to see the leverage they would have. Leston, how are you, mate? I'm well, thank you for asking. Do you really think Spurs spent 140 million on top of what we have already spent? Forest have submitted a bid for Nico Lewis. Interesting. Okay. Different. Oh, they're signing McAtee, aren't they? So City are clearing. They are clearing out a little bit. Obviously, I know City have signed some players, but I think they're clearing out a little bit. City, I think, have a big move lined up. It might be Rodrigo, but I think they've got a big move lined up. Savinho is a massive part as to how they're going to afford it. I think something's coming from City that they're going to look at the Florian Wirtz deal and go, that's great. We want to get our version of that deal. And it might be Rodrigo. We'll have to see. Sonia, how are you? Swaggy Boost, how are you? Johanna is saying it's advanced for Eze. He will come, hopefully so. Bournemouth sold the whole back line. You never know. That's true. Money talks at the end of the day. Every player has a price. Money talks. It's just how much money you have to give to make them talk, El Dente, how are you, mate? What? Oh, he's at the gym listening. What are you training at the gym? I'm your intra gym workout. Listen, I feel honoured. I feel absolutely honoured. Where are Forest getting the money from? I really hope you smashed them home and away this season. Well, they do have Europe this season. Don't forget. They do have Europe. So there's going to be revenue, isn't there? Yeah, so there you go. I mean, Hincapie last season, to give you an idea, played 45 times, 3 goals, 2 assists. Played 32 times in the Bundesliga, 2 goals, 2 assists. So, yeah, I mean, he plays a little bit of left back, plays a little bit like left wing back when necessary, plays left centre back, obviously, mostly. That's his style. And look, he's a player that I think we all probably quite like, but yeah. I personally, I don't see that move happening, but I cannot lie. I've been wrong pretty much the most of the way through this window. Although technically I'm right, but as soon as they sign Eze or Savinho, I'm then wrong again. So I'm right for a bit. Whoo, go me. No, genuinely, I thought Kudus was the big marquee signing, and look what happens. You know. What's the percentage of? Excuse me. What's the percentage of Savinho and Eze to come to Spurs in your opinion? And is there any other links for attackers? There's a few other little small links, but nothing of any real credibility. Those are the two main guys, right? All the big sources are reporting on them. What's the percentage? Look, if I was to break them down individually, I feel like Eze is, I think, about 50 odd % right now, maybe a bit higher depending on if another team comes in. Savinho, I'll go 45%. I'm gonna say 55 and 45%. There you go. We'll see though. CM Punk, how are we? I'm training back and biceps, and I started bicep grip lat pull downs, 90 kilograms. Nice one, dude. Keep going. You think Lang is working in the dark for a surprise signing? No, I don't, because it's all getting leaked again. There's a leak that's getting this all back out there, and his name's Fabio Paratici. You can be wrong at things in life, just don't be Andy wrong about Rafinha. Wrong. Wow. Yeah, that's a fat L by me. We need both signings. I agree, Marcus. We're linked with Olmo. Yeah, we are. Fikaha is saying that we're linked with Danny Olmo, but not sure about that one. Let's talk BIssouma. Roma have made contact through intermediaries over a possible deal for BIssouma. A deal dependent if Roma sell Manu Kone this summer. Clubs in Turkey are also interested in Roma. Just on this, Romano just tweeted about Manu Kone. Hang on. Where is it? AS Roma owners, the Friedkin family, want to keep Manu Kone after an official approach made by Inter on Thursday. Gasperini told the club he considers Kone a key player for his project. The Inter approach has been rejected. So look, if that's the case, then you would say, okay, probably going to sit here and say BIssouma to Roma is going to be unlikely then. It still may happen, but I think it's unlikely. I mean, look, I first saw it and thought, tell you what, BIssouma in the Serie A just makes so much sense because he'd look pretty damn quick in that league. I mean, Scott McTominay's their best player in their league. I mean, it says a lot. No offense to the Serie A. You know, nobody thought Scott McTominay was going to go out there and be a Ballon d'Or credited person. He wouldn't be in the Premier League. He just wouldn't be in the Premier League at all. You know, so yeah. I mean, kudos to him, obviously, but it wasn't going to happen. But I think BIssouma in a league like that, I think he would do very, very well. You know? Scott is underrated. Also, BIssouma, I think, isn't that good. Well, that's fair enough. Each their own. Talking. Our battery's getting low. Make the deal, please. And remember, we're on Champions League. Please think about that. Many games to come. And please sign players. Please. Well, you heard it there. There you go. Right, let's have a quick chat about the game tomorrow. Because I don't know if you know this. Spurs play in the Premier League tomorrow. The Premier League is back tonight. Liverpool versus Bournemouth is tonight, I'm pretty sure. Let me have a quick look at the team news. The team news is out. Look at that. Christ alive. That team's pretty good from Liverpool. Oh, there you go. Anyway, moving on. More importantly, Spurs. You know, Spurs obviously tomorrow play at 3 p.m. UK time. Obviously, I don't know where that is in the world for wherever you are watching this, but it's back. Spurs at home to Burnley. I'm really excited about this. It's, I think Wednesday night, I'll give you my quick, brief 30-second chat about Wednesday night. You know, look, they were a bit rusty, PSG. I think it's fair to say that, yes, okay, we did kind of throw the game away, and that's fine to say. There's nothing wrong in saying that. We did kind of throw the game away. but we did look very, very good. There was a lot of positives come out of that game. Positives from players that I didn't think were going to give me the positives they did. So there's a lot to build off there. I really do think there's a lot to build off there. And Saturday is a different test. You know, you're against a Burnley team who are what you would sum up as very defensive, sum up as a team that will try and hit you on counters. You know, I think there's a lot in obviously this super not super cup this game that you can really take away from. And one of the big things for me would be this is completely different from ESG. You know, I would expect Spurs to hold the majority of the possession. I'd expect Spurs to be having to break down a low line and defensive block. I'd expect us to suffer and struggle a little bit, if I'm honest. These are sort of games that, you know, Kudus would have to, you know, beat a few men and things like that. Maddison would be big in a game like this. How we create from that midfield that, you know, is somewhat lacking in creativity. I don't foresee us playing a back five. I feel like we need a bit more creativity going forward in a game like this. Yeah. Did I see what Mourinho said? No, I didn't see what Mourinho said. Surprised that Johnson didn't play Wednesday night. If we do get this deal done, where does everyone think we'll finish this season? I don't know, mate. I don't know. I should have given my prediction, shouldn't I? I think Liverpool and City will be fighting for the title. I think Chelsea will be third. I think Arsenal will be fourth. I think Spurs will be fifth. There you go. So back in the Champions League through, you know, league qualification. But I think that's probably the way I would go. That's probably the way I would go. So no more signings. No, still signings to come. Still signings to come. They just take time. 4K, Andy, congratulations. 4K. Am I on 4,000 subs? Is that right? I'll take your word for it. If that's the case, if I'm on 4,000 subs, thank you everyone that has subscribed. You're absolute bloody legends. Yeah, 4,000, eh? For this idiot sitting in his room chatting absolute nonsense. And you all decide that you want to sit here and listen to him. You're brave souls. You're brave souls. So thank you everyone. If it is 4K, thank you everyone that has subscribed. I really do appreciate it. You've made my weekend. And if Spurs win, summer fruit squashes are on me, everyone, all right? But no, the game this weekend, I think Spurs will win. I think there's a lot to come out of Wednesday night you should be positive about. I think Spurs will win. I think 2-0 is what I'm going to go for. I think 2-0 is what I'm going to go for. I think my starting 11, Vicario, Spence, Mickey, Kuti, Porro. I think Destiny's still not fit, so I think Spence is going to start. Paulinho, who I thought had a good game midweek. Paulinho. I think Paulinho, I could see a Bergvall starting this game. Just let's get in the mindset of these. Let's rotate. Let's try and get some rotation in, you know. Big Kev Dancer obviously rotating out is obviously going to help. It feels difficult because I think Bergvall, right? I think Bergvall will start. Will Archie Gray start? I don't know. I'm struggling on this one because I think Pape could start. I would actually rest Bentancur. And people will go, it's the start of season. You shouldn't need to rest anyone. But don't you also think that plays into a little bit of our issues last season with injuries that we didn't rotate enough at the start? Like for me right now, doesn't matter there's a game in another week's time. Let's rotate. Let's keep players healthy. Let's keep them fit. Yeah, I think I'd get Bergvall in there. I don't know if I'd play Gray as well, but I'd get Bergvall in there. I'd get. I think Jono could start. I think. Do you know what? I wouldn't have an issue with Tell starting or an Odebear starting. Odebear against his former club. Let's not forget that. That could be a play. Odebear. I don't. Will he go Solanke over Richie just because of Wednesday night? Obviously, try and keep Richie healthy as best as you can. I said, do you know what? It's quite nice having some options. It is nice for once to have some options. It's rare. All I'm saying is it's rare. So yeah, I think I'll go Paulinho, Bergvall, Pape. Maybe that's the midfield I'll go with. And I'll go Odebear, Slanky Kudus, or tell Slanky Kudus. Yeah, I'm going to go with that. I think we win 2-0. Yeah, I think we go 2-0. And I'm going to go goal scorers. Pedro Porro. Pedro Porro and Big Dom. Pedro Porro and Big Dom. It's just more information that on the Kone situation, obviously due to that affecting BIssouma. There's a little bit more, but nothing too mental. Yeah, I think I'll go 2-0. What do we think? Are we thinking we're going to win? Are we thinking a draw? Are we thinking a draw? Are we thinking a loss? What do we think? So interested in Piero Hincapie. Yeah, I talked about him earlier, Eve. Andy, how good was Spence on Wednesday night? Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. Not once did PSG threaten him. Odebear starts. If we do, then yes, I agree. It's crazy what a couple of signings could do, and as long as you keep them fit, that's the key thing with Spurs. If you keep them fit, it's crazy what those couple of signings can do. But yeah, I think I'm going to go 2-0. Get the season off to a hot start. You know, getting a win. Ready then next weekend to play Manchester City at the Etihad, where it's going to be a hell of a hell of a game, hell of a task. You know, we've sort of seen Spurs' back five kind of thing, which I think you'd probably see against City next weekend. I think you'll see a back four this weekend, knowing that Spurs have to get a bit more on the front foot and attack a bit more. That's my thinking. That's my thinking. I hope we get Eze in by City game. Yeah, hopefully so. But we shall see. Look, thank you so much for joining me this evening. Please go and enjoy the rest of your evenings. Please, back to remote score. Love it. Love it, Al Dente. Please go to the rest of your evenings. Please, obviously, Al Dente, have yourself a good gym session. Faz, mate, how are you? Hope Tel gets a goal. Absolutely. I hope Tel gets a goal as well. Spurs are back tomorrow. And I think that's brilliant. And I'm looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to speaking to you all very soon to either tell you about new signings or Spurs winning a bloody game of football. Take care, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your evenings. I'll speak to you all then. Take care. Peace.